Peace activists who were part of a flotilla of about 50 boats carrying humanitarian aid to starving Palestinians at the Gaza Strip were roundly detained, abused, and mocked on camera by the Israelis. But what's getting the most attention is the fact that Itamar Ben-Gvir, who happens to be the defense minister of Israel, posted about it on social media and made the Israelis look bad. So currently there's a big debate, Cenk, about what to do about Itamar Ben-Gvir.
Yeah, so I want you guys to watch the video and see how bad it is, and then I want to talk to you about the cover-up and whether the cover-up is going to help or not.
So we're gonna show you the video. You're gonna hear Hebrew. For our audio listeners, we will give you the statement. We'll read it to you when we come back from the video. Take a look.
הם באו עם הרבה גאווה כגיבורים גדולים. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו, תסתכלי. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו. לא גיבורים ולא כלום, תומכי טרור. אני אומר לראש הממשלה נתניהו, תן לי אותם לעוד הרבה זמן. תן לנו אותם בבתי הכלא של המחבלים, ככה זה צריך להיראות.
So that was Itamar Ben-Gvir. This is what he said. They came with a lot of pride. He's talking about people trying to deliver food, humanitarian aid to Palestinians who are intentionally being starved. Okay. They came with a lot of pride, like great heroes. Look at how they look now, just look. Look at how they look now, not heroes or anything, just supporters of terrorism. I tell the Prime Minister Netanyahu, give them to me for a much longer time. Give them to us in the terrorist prisons. That's how it should look. By the way, Itamar Ben-Gvir, a terrorist, is in charge of Israel's prison system.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally convicted of supporting terrorism. So they've just literally handed the country over to terrorists. Okay, for the audio listeners, the folks who are in the flotilla are on the ground. They're on their knees and their heads are on the ground in a bowing position to the Israelis, just for extra humiliation. Now we've seen some of the pictures as they are arriving in different countries like Turkey, and
their injuries
are severe. Okay, they beat them so badly. That's why they're making them kneel in like a kind of a symbolic way of, you are superior to us, and we are groveling to you, which is exactly what the Israelis love at this point. They love rubbing it in the rest of the world's face, because these aren't just Palestinians or Arabs. These are Westerners, and they're like, no, you are inferior to us. We will beat you, we will torture you, and then we will make you look submissive to us. And then we'll send it to the whole world to rub it in your face. You work for us. You give us your money, you give us your wars, and then we humiliate you. Humiliation is a huge part of the occupation. Every single Palestinian I have spoken to has a horrific story of humiliation. For them, for their kids, for their wives. Right now, the settlers are stalking young girls' latrines and saying, we're going to rape your daughters and your wives if you stay here. And it's part of the sexual abuse that they do to the Palestinians to drive them out of the land, which is another telltale sign of a genocide when you use sexual assault as a weapon. And they've done it systematically all throughout the settlements and all throughout the prisons, and now they're rubbing our faces in it.
So how did the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, respond to this? I mean, there is a sizable portion of Israel's society right now who are furious, because this is obviously very bad PR and they're trying to do some damage control. But Netanyahu decided to double down. So here's what he had to say about it on X. Israel has every right to prevent provocative flotillas of Hamas terrorist supporters from entering our territorial waters and reaching Gaza. So let's just pause for a second. These are people who are motivated by the fact that innocent civilians are intentionally being starved to death in the Gaza Strip. At no point did any of them mention or declare their support of Hamas, but this is what they do, right? Anyone who cares about the humanity, the dignity of the Palestinian people, in the eyes of extremists like Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir, they're Hamas supporters. In reality, they need to look in the mirror, because they're the terrorists. They're the real terrorists.
Yeah, so I see Israeli apologists all the time saying, well, if the Palestinians hadn't done this, if. It's the famous line from Golda Meir, or I should say infamous line, where she said, we'll never forgive the Palestinians for making us kill their children. So they say, well, if they hadn't taken the hostages, if they hadn't done this, if they hadn't done that, right? But the hostages have been returned now for months on end. They're still slaughtering people in Gaza. They're still slaughtering people in Lebanon and Iran and in the West Bank. And why did a flotilla come? It was to feed hungry children. So now, if you attack them because they're occupying you, well, that's obvious terrorism. You should never, ever touch an Israeli. You should just be occupied forever and know that you're inferior to them. But okay, then on top of that, they go, if you go to the UN, that's also terrorism. Wait, diplomacy is terrorism? They've literally said that, literally. Then you say, hey, these guys are bringing in food for starving children. They're like, that's also supporting terrorism. How could feeding hungry people be supporting terrorism? See, what it is an excuse. The word terrorism is nonsense. It doesn't apply to the Israelis. It not only applies to Muslims. Now, congratulations, the West. You're now all terrorists too for trying to feed hungry Palestinian kids. You're now supporting terrorism according to the Israelis. And by the way, that means you could be tortured. That means you could be detained, beat, raped, and killed because you're supporting terrorism if you want to feed hungry children. And these are the monsters that our disgusting politicians demand that we fund and say that we're immoral if we don't fund them.
I mean, honestly, Cenk, I've come across a lot of people who say the work we do here has, changed their minds about Israel. But honestly, at this point, I think we could be completely silent on the treachery of Israel, and they incriminate themselves. They do it every day, every single day. They have a hard time understanding that the rest of the human race looks at this kind of stuff and they see it as immoral. They don't get it. They don't get it. They think they're doing something good. Torturing innocent people, starving people to death. I know it's shocking, but to the rest of the world, that is seen as bad, not good, bad, okay? So literally, we could say nothing about Israel ever again. And just by their very actions and the fact that they're obsessed with publicizing their very actions, that's gonna change hearts and minds when it comes to Israel. Okay, so not everyone in Israeli society is supportive of what happened to the humanitarians who tried to deliver aid to Gaza. Josh Brainer, who is a journalist over at Haaretz, posted the following. Ben-Gvir's humiliation video will reach 15 million views on Twitter alone. It'll climb even higher, and that's just on Twitter. Around the world, it's spreading like wildfire. The immense damage has already been done everywhere, and to us too. Suddenly, we caught a terrifying glimpse of ourselves in the mirror. Thank you.
Yes, that's a great line, Josh. Thank you.
Yes, that's exactly right, and I really appreciate that line. And I'm constantly wondering, do right-wing voters already grasp how much damage this man, meaning Itamar Ben-Gvir, is causing? What kind of disaster he's bringing down on us and on them? Because honestly, none of the rest matters. People like me know he's a criminal, a provocateur, a fame seeker, a dangerous clown, and that's just for starters. I'm gonna read the rest of it. He also says this, but has the penny dropped for right-wing voters? After all, what kind of Jewish strength is there in this video? And even if we assume every one of those police detainees is a blatant anti-Semite, does that legitimize behaving the way he did, humiliating, degrading, abusing the power given to the prison service and police for that purpose, and then documenting it and spreading it around the world? Is this how you want us to look? So there are people who have moral issues with what happened in this case. I believe that Josh is one of them. And then there are those who don't really have a problem with it, but don't like the negative press. They don't like the fact that Ben-Gvir posted this on social media. And right now, the Israeli Foreign Ministry is trying to do a little bit of damage control. So they posted this on X. Activists from the provocation flotilla are seen hugging after being transferred to Israeli vessels. So far, no aid has been found on their boats, which I don't believe for a second. They're just trying to make it seem like these people are causing problems, when in reality, they're literally risking their lives. They know what the Israelis are like. They're literally risking their lives to deliver food and aid to Palestinians. And by the way, medical supplies as well, not just food.
Yeah, so we've got more horrors coming up in a second, but yes, there's the damage control crowd, including the Prime Minister, and the rest of that statement that Anna showed you. He says this is not in line with Israel's values and norms, and that's what they say every time they're caught publicly in a way that the West notices.
Yeah.
Like they're not quote unquote caught on all the different videos of the IDF soldiers that are stealing everything in the Lebanese homes before they destroy them, that are mocking Christians in the churches that they're destroying, on and on and on. But every once in a while, something gets a lot of attention, like the guy smashing the Jesus statue's head, right? Those are the only times that Netanyahu or his office comes out and goes, oh, that does not represent our values or norms. Oh, good, so you arrested him, right? Oh no, we didn't arrest anyone. In fact, we gave them a promotion, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
No, so it does represent your norms. Otherwise, there would be consequences, right?
All you have to do is watch like Israeli television, and then you'll understand what their values are, because people say things brazenly. They say it out loud with no shame at all. And so if I lived in a society that would look down on immoral acts or immoral statements, I wouldn't expect to see what you're about to see. This is Knesset member Yitzhak Crozier. Take a look.
האפשרית. אני מגבה את לוחמי צה"ל בכל סיטואציה. גם אם המחיר האגבי הוא ילדים או נשים או לא מעניין אותי. אנחנו מגבים את הלוחמים שלנו בכל מחיר. ולא משנה מה התוצאה. קודם כל גיבוי מלא. ובג'נין אין אזרחים חפים מפשע. בג'נין אין ילדים תמימים. אותם אלו שנולדו ב-2006 בגירוש מגוש קטיף הם הנוח'בות של 2026 ב-7 באוקטובר. ולכן אין לי כהוא זה איזושהי תחושה של רחמים על האויבים שלי.
Let me go ahead and read what he said in English. I back the IDF fighters in every situation, even if the price is killing children or women, or it doesn't interest me. We back our fighters at any price and no matter the result. And in Jenin, there are no innocent civilians. In Jenin, there are no innocent children. Imagine uttering the words, there are no innocent children. Imagine uttering those words. This is a Knesset member, okay. All right, let's keep going. Those same ones who were born in 2006 in the expulsion from Gush Katif, they are the Nuka, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, and therefore I do not have even a bit, even a tiny bit, any kind of feeling of mercy for the Palestinians. So basically he's referring to children, Palestinian children, as terrorists.
Yeah, so look guys, a lot of folks in this country, because our press works for the right-wing government of Israel, or seems to, covers up all of their crimes, never shares any of these videos with you guys, never shows you the devastating stories of the Palestinian children killed, murdered, and abused, greatly humiliated, etc. You don't see what's actually happening in Israel. In Israel now, there are tons of literal Nazis in their Knesset, in their cabinet. And when I say literal Nazis, well, when you say that we don't care about innocent children, they should be murdered, well, that's what a Nazi says, right? We say we don't care about the innocent Jews or the Poles or the Roma or anything. We just murder them because by definition, everyone there is guilty, everyone of that ethnicity. So if you want to call them fascists instead of Nazis, that's fine. But there's no question at all, based on what we just heard, that Yitzhak Crozier is a fascist, and he would have fit in perfectly in Nazi Germany, saying there are no innocent women, there are no innocent children, let's just murder them. That's, again, exactly what the Nazis said. And he said not one bit of mercy, exactly what the Nazis said, and that there are no innocent civilians. That's why the Nazis said that's why we have to murder all the Jews, because there are no innocent civilians. Now, the Israelis are saying now we have to murder all of the innocent Palestinian children because there are no innocent civilians. So also, unquestionably, that is what terrorists say.
Yeah.
That is terrorism 101. If you don't say that that Knesset member is a terrorist, and by the way, did he also help to pass laws and legislation and rules that actually literally carried out what he's saying, where they murdered 23,000 children in Gaza? Yes, it's not theoretical. He actually did it. They all actually did it, right? Yeah. If you say they're not terrorists, you're just saying, oh, I use the word terrorist to smear Muslims because I'm a bigot and I want them murdered. And I'm never going to apply it to Jewish people. I'm never going to apply it to Israelis. I'm never going to apply it to anyone that's me because I want to murder them. Then you are a terrorist. You are a fascist. And so stop hiding behind this veil of, oh, we're the aggrieved ones, we're the victims. No, the last unfortunate, deeply ironic, terrible thing that the Nazis did, unfortunately, is they left behind this strand of fascism that has followed to Israel, where might makes right, and you murder anyone who's your enemy. So now you're seeing it with your own eyes. We're showing you the exact quotes and the exact speeches. There is absolutely no disputing it. And Ben-Gvir is one of the top 3 most important members in Israel's cabinet. It's not these liars here that the Israeli supporters in America that are all over television and the media are giant liars, and they know they're lying. Oh, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich are a small part of the government. That's not true. They're 2 out of the 3 most important. Israel Katz is their defense minister. 3 out of the 4, and the 4th is Netanyahu. They're all terrorists. They're all fascists by every definition of the word fascism and terrorism. But here they go, no. We're the victims. Netanyahu is the victim. Fascist Yitzhak Herzog is the victim of the Palestinians. And our media knows no bounds. They have no decency at all. So to this day, they paint the Palestinians and the Arabs as the terrorists and the Israelis as the victims of the Palestinian terrorism. They have no shame at all. Lastly, Zionism at this point is clearly a cult, okay? And they get, in a cult, you get propaganda from when you're young, right? And they brainwash you. And in the case of Zionism, they say everyone's gonna murder you. Everyone in the world hates you. The only thing that can protect you is Israel. And you have to kill them first. And you have to take their land. Why? Because God promised it to you. Now, wait a minute. So no Jewish person I know in America thinks that they're the chosen people, right? That's just a statement that they had sent the books, but they interpret it in totally different ways, or they're not religious, they're secular, etc. Literally, I don't know a single Jewish person that thinks that they're the chosen people. But then they make the mistake of projection, and they think, well, no one in Israel believes that. That's not true at all. Tons of people, a huge percentage of Israelis believe they are the chosen people. God promised them Judea and Samaria, and God promised them all that land. That is why they have to murder all of the innocent civilians on that land, which they don't have one bit of mercy for, because God told them that they're the Übermensch.
Yeah.
They are the superior people, and they must take that land and kill whoever's on it. So that is a stone cold fact about an enormous percentage of Israelis. And everything else that you hear in American media about how they're the victims is absurd, and it's propaganda on behalf of a fascist government so they could take more money from us for their fascism. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.